Gala Music, welcome to another AMA. I am super excited to be joined by someone I think you'll recognize from Discord, maybe, or from real life, Righteous J from City of Sound. How's it going, man?
It's going good, man. Yeah, I've had a lot of fun in the Discord, especially the past couple weeks. It's been awesome kind of jumping into the community and just seeing the engagement. And man, it's one of the best Discords that I'm a part of. The engagement is awesome. Like you just get to like interact with people and it's very community driven. So it's been fun. We're having a good time.
Yeah, super community driven and really passionate about not only music, but I think passionate about artists who are passionate. And
Mm.
so when someone like you pops in and you've got a ton of energy and you love what you do and you're ready just to jump in and engage with these maniacs,
I
they
love it.
they value that. I value that. Like you look at it, it's like, oh, like this is what you're supposed to be doing. So thanks for being so engaging right out of the gate with everybody. That's amazing.
I mean, honestly, as we're DIY, so I totally understand how if you're going to choose to, you know, go part like team up with somebody or join someone's community, like you got to just believe in it, throw yourself in the fire and just start engaging with people. So it's very perfect. Our listener base calls themselves the Madness, and so I feel like it's been very simple just to relate and just engage with people because there's a lot of just similarities. And I love the memes and all the gifs that everyone's posting. It makes me laugh every time I scroll through, so I love it.
I saw somebody made that super dope setup of you guys performing out of Lego.
Oh, yeah. That was unreal. I don't know how long that took. That was unreal.
Yeah, it was great seeing it. Like, oh, that's a really cool fan, and I
And it
love
was like it was
that.
like detailed too. Like they had Nova with her violin, like
Yeah,
they had like Andrew's blonde hair and like me yelling at the crowd and like our logo and yeah, that Lego set was yeah, that was incredible.
they were not messing around. Someone did point out accurately that you had a shirt on, so it wasn't totally accurate.
It must have been the beginning of a show that they were doing. Yeah, I have a habit of becoming disrobed throughout our concerts, but it's mainly just because I have a real big sweat problem, and so yeah, what was happening was our first few shows we did years ago. I was just ruining my shirts, and I mean, we would get done with like an hour and a half set, and I would just like my shirt was just like destroyed and ripped up and like torn apart because uh, I'm a little bit energetic. I get a little excited, at our shows. And then finally, I was just like, guys, is it like too like egotistical just to be shirtless? Like, is that all right? Because like I'm shirtless throughout the day, anyways. Like you guys see me all the time outside. Like it's not like I'm wearing shirts anyways. And they were just like, man, just be you, just do your thing, like, and it will come off as genuine. And I was like, all right. So ever since then, just yeah.
Yeah, I don't ever take it as like an ego thing when you see people in bands or artists take their shirts off. I'm guessing it's about 1,000 degrees on stage.
It's so hot. It's so hot.
As always, if anybody has any questions, feel free to pop them up in YouTube or in Discord. This is live, and we'll answer anything really.
Oh yeah.
Wayne already said, glad to become a part of the madness.
I love it. Let's go.
Uh, who decides your fan base is the madness? How does that get coined?
Yeah, that's a really good question. We have there's so we released our demos like 6 years ago. Andrew and I produced them in a small corner of an apartment, right? We had no money, almost no equipment. We released our demos and we gathered like a very, very small collection of listeners, but they were very loud. They were very intense, and we did a couple shows around LA. We were hitting Sunset and just booking shows ourselves, and just we were doing it literally the old school way. We were going up and down every avenue of Los Angeles with flyers, hanging them up. I was just standing outside of restaurants and totally just like loitering and just like bothering people to come to our shows. And we started getting these listeners that started doing it in their cities where they were from. And one of them, we went to play this venue called the Roxy at Los Angeles, and they just packed it out. And then one of the people on like Twitter was just like, dude, we're literally just a crew of madness. And then people started saying it, and then I was like, all right, I'm with it, whatever, let's go for it. It came off one of our songs called The Madhouse, and then it just, yeah, that's how it kind of started. And then ever since then, that's just how I've referred to them.
It's pretty awesome for a fan collective name. Like, it's almost too good. So it's like, did you make that up for your, like, you can't pick your own nickname, but it felt like you almost picked that for your fans because it's so good. Yeah, that's amazing. All right, I know.
Hi, everybody watching too. I just pulled up the chat, so hi guys.
Oh, you're trying to.
Oh yeah, of course. I just pulled them. I mean, you know, I stream like every Saturday and stuff. So
yeah, something
CQ,
I want.
Smiling, Timothy, Crypto, Wayne, Vatiz, Augusto, Jeff, Yuri. Yeah, I see everybody. Waifu, Redline. I see everybody in there.
I'm still terrible at this because I've got up. I have YouTube on one channel and I've got the Discord on the other. But YouTube, as you know, lags horribly.
Yeah,
and so I look over to the chat and it's just like it always trips me up.
It's a really YouTube's working on their streaming service. I've been working on it. I've been trying to figure it out too.
Yeah, but it's great that you popped it up. So let's get into that. First of all, shout out Chewbacca, who actually introduced you guys to me. I'm still taking credit for the signing. You guys are firmly Team Taco.
I love it. Let's go.
Ecosystem. I've talked about this before. There's a couple of people who kind of bring artists on board, and we're a little competitive about stuff.
I love it.
So I feel like if this is like an artist fantasy team, you guys 100% on my team. We're riding this all the way to the playoff. And when we first met and talked about stuff, one of the things, like, I did a deep dive into, like, all right, who are these guys? And you like pull up your Twitter and you start researching. It's like, wow, these guys are heavily into gaming, like super deep roots. Where does that come from? Let's talk through like you play a lot of gaming shows and cons. And
yeah, those are our people. Yeah. I mean, I've been heavy into gaming. I mean, ever since growing up with my best friend Nate, who had a PC, and so I would go to his house all the time, and we would just game together nonstop. And gaming has always been very much not even just an escape for me, but kind of a therapy for me. Especially out here in LA. You know, we've been at this for 7 years now, and you know, it's basically the band has basically been, you know, funded. You know, it's self-funded. And so that means that you're constantly broke. And so gaming for me kind of became it was just a way to just like, I needed to get away on adventures. I needed to like go on quest. I needed to like be in this fantasy world because I was in this constant industry of writing songs for free for other artists, ghost writing, like, you know, all these things where it's just a constant grind. And what ended up happening was just on Twitter, you know, I'm playing all these games, and so I'm interacting with people who play those games, and then it just started leading to kind of a following for us with gamers, and other communities outside of that. Like we played the grand opening of the LGBT Center here in LA and stuff like that. It just really opened up like a lot of, I wouldn't say niche communities, but I think to the music industry, because it's a dinosaur, that they think that they're niche communities. But as far as we were concerned, it was just our people. And yeah, one thing just led to another. And then we played TwitchCon right before kind of COVID broke. We played it was a team called Team Liquid. They're an esport team, and their partner who's Alienware. And we played their stage, and it was wild. And it was like a kind of a huge coming out party for us. But then COVID hit, and naturally, as it did with everyone, you know, it kind of forced a restart. So after COVID, we basically were totally restarting our careers. And then, yeah, one thing led to another. We played Rocket League Worlds, which Rocket League is a game that I absolutely adore, and its community. And we didn't play Rocket League Worlds. We booked our own show during Rocket League Worlds and didn't ask for permission. And then they sold it out, and just yeah, they just absolutely like showed up for us. And then one thing led to another, and then we just did DreamHack in San Diego just a couple weeks ago, and we have some other ones that are coming up that we have not announced yet that we're very excited for. So I think we're right at the cusp of finally starting to. We're not there yet, but the goal is to make a living off of it, and that's where I think we're heading to right now.
Yeah, it's awesome. We were talking about the gaming audience being like a niche market, and it's like, oh, but that's us. That's Gala. Like,
gamers are everywhere.
They're totally everywhere.
Everywhere.
But I think especially Gala, tons of gamers in this community, which makes you guys such a good fit. But yeah, gaming is everybody's a gamer, so it is kind of silly to like try to put you guys in that box. Like it's a bad thing that you appeal to people who game. Your music. Let's get into it because it's a little bit.
Hit me with it.
It's a little bit. It's different than what we have on the platform so far. It's a really big sound. I guess if you want to start with where you got into music first individually, and then where City of Sound came from.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Yeah, that's great. So I actually didn't play music until I was about 18. I've really only been playing music for like in reality, like 10 years. And I had like a really bad injury that happened. And in my parents' house, there was this old beat up piano, like missing keys, not even close to being in tune, like broken keys all over the place. The piano was just like absolutely in very rough shape. And I had like 8 months where I couldn't do anything. And so I started sitting down at the piano. I knew all the white keys were in the same key at least. And that's kind of how I started. And then I started learning how to sing because I was working some odd jobs, in Indiana, whether it was, drywalling or, post hole digging or whatever it was. I was driving around in my beat down Buick Regal. That was just a piece of am I allowed to swear on here? I don't know what the.
Yeah, I think after the first minute.
Okay, I just want to do well by Gala. I don't want to make. All right. I was driving around in a piece of shit Buick Regal, and I was I started singing to a band called Alter Bridge. Their lead singer is Miles Kennedy, who very quickly became one of my like huge influences, and that's how I learned how to sing. And I was 18, 19 years old at that point. And then one thing led to another. I had kind of basically failed out of high school. Not to go too personal, but I ended up finding my way into a college. Then I hated it. And then I dropped out of there because classic, musician story, very stereotypical. And I went with a very small label, like Indiana, like out of Chicago. They went under actually while I was recording my EP with them. And I was under the name City of Sound even then. I didn't really like what they were kind of having me do. And yeah, one thing led to another. Long story short, came out to LA. And then I was in search of bandmates. And I kind of got through by being a songwriter and getting studio gigs and running all that. And then met Andrew and Nova. Andrew's our guitarist for anyone watching. Nova's our violinist. And then we started City of Sound and then just literally grew it from the bottom up and just only with us three.
Nova was, I think, built for Web3. I'm sure she knows, like electric violin, and she cosplays.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just got her streaming on Twitch, like just got her started streaming, and she's crushing it. Yeah, I'm very excited for her. I think she's going to just absolutely nail it.
100%. Like I was first going through the band's Twitter, and like your stuff was up there, and then I came through her, and it's like, are you kidding me? Like,
yeah, she's the elf vampire fairy queen. So that's pretty much how that works.
It feels like your band was like built in a lab, like for Web3, like the gaming and the cosplay and the sound. You're calling it cinematic rock. I think I called it that before I knew that you called it that, because when I first went and started listening to all your stuff on Spotify,
I love that.
Like shit, this is so like cinematic. Like it's such a big sound.
I love that.
Where did that come from? Where's the influences around that?
Yeah, so it's so funny because whenever someone asks us our influences, I think they kind of have assumptions of what our influences are, and it's very random. I originally wanted to do like film scores. That was kind of my first love in like falling into music. I have a friend who works in the film industry now. He was working on like guerrilla shoots, and I really loved kind of the filming he was doing, and it made me fall in love with film scoring. Um, but one thing kind of grew into another. Obviously, I love rock music. My influences growing up were metalcore, like metalcore, emo. I mean, which I know our music doesn't sound anything like that. But those were my biggest influences. I love the way they write. I love their poetry, like their messages, their dynamics, their road mapping of sound. I mean, it's really, I really love the passion that happens out of a metalcore show is something that you can't experience anywhere else because it's not like the band's not trying to be too cool for school. They're not trying to act as though they're above like the audience. They're one like with the crowd. Like and it feels that way. And that just became really addicting to me. And yeah, what ended up happening was bringing kind of that cinematic movement into our sound. And then we just started creating it ourselves. And the idea was we want a wall of sound, something that teleports people into a story, something that makes them feel as though they are the central character of the story whenever they listen to our songs. And the idea was that we kind of had two rules, and the two rules was it's got to punch you in the face with hope. Like, I grew up with a lot of dark music and a lot of stuff, and I think I came to a place in life where, especially a lot of our listeners who I follow on Twitter, I follow thousands of them on Twitter. I see what they're going through, and even like a lot of like my fellow gamers, like I see what we're going through and like the darkness that we're constantly walking in. And so we very much became obsessed with the idea of it must always end in hope. And then the other thing is like it has to be genuine. No matter what we make, it has to be us, created by us, the sounds created by us, and nothing curated, nothing that's made for anything else other than our listener who's listening to it. And whatever happens with that is what happens with that. So those are kind of the two rules that we put together. And then we just started putting our first album together. And then we ended up releasing it during COVID and all that stuff, even though that was probably a terrible idea, but we did it anyways.
Yeah, I love the message of hope, and I love that the decision to like this is what we're going to do.
Mhm.
It's going to be genuine, and I think we had talked about how that isn't always a great fit for like if you're trying to join a label or do different things, which is why like I love what we're doing at Gala because we don't put those restrictions on artists. Like we talked about the fact that you're going to start putting out your next concept album. You're like, people don't want concept albums anymore. It's like, I want concept albums. And if you're doing it, we want that on Gala because I think we appreciate what you're doing and the sound. And so for us, that's great.
I love that. And yeah, because we had chose to be independent from the start. I had already said I kind of had a bad experience with a label, and there's been label offers, there's been label interests. And look, to be honest, I have nothing against labels. They're honestly just trying to figure out the music industry like everyone else. But it's to the point now where like the industry is such a dinosaur in understanding like the people that are out there and what they focus in on. And also like labels are just a VC. Like, let's be honest, like that's all they are now. And they're just praying to God that one of them lands and makes a success. And I think for us, we weren't interested in that. It's a much longer road without that. But I think the biggest thing was just look, for years I had looked who do we find a partner with, someone to like bring onto our team that understands kind of where the music industry is going, and will they believe in this band that's creating this like cinematic sound and huge moments and big chokes and big vocals, and then all of a sudden there's a violin, and then all of a sudden there's all this delay guitar happening and all these dynamics. I was like, are we going to find who that is that's going to believe in it? And so I was searching for that. And so the interesting thing with Gala was, I got a message from one of your members who's very heavily, I don't know if Chewbacca's in there.
Oh, he's in there.
Okay, so I was getting a bunch of messages like, check Gala out. You guys have to check Gala out. And then I started looking at it and I started thinking to myself, I was like, is this the future of how people are going to monetize their music? Because right now I'm like, everyone's cutting songs for TikTok, and it's even less than radio cuts now. Radio cuts were 3.5 minutes. Now they're cutting for TikTok and it's 2 minutes, 15 seconds. And we don't fit that mold at all. Half of our songs are 4 to 5 minutes long, and then that's like our average, or probably our shorter ones. And so we couldn't find a home there. And what we started to find at our live shows, though, was where the music industry told us that there was no interest in that. That's where our relationship with gamers started landing, because we have found that there's this group of people who want this like story and this linear story and these moments where at a live show you get to experience them together and you get to say the same words to each other and like find that oneness that maybe you have not found for a long time with just where the world's at. And then once we started talking, I was looking into Gala and I started looking through the Discord. And you know me, I was doing all my research and kind of looking through blockchain. Okay, like, is this real? And also, do we bring value to this? Because that's the thing too, is I think it'd be very easy to jump in and be like, oh, we're going to monetize our music. But like, do we actually bring value to this? Like, are our songs good enough? Is our production good enough? Because as you know, we do it all ourselves. And then as a band, we kind of met, we discussed through it, and we were like, it's time. Like, this is the place. And so I think the cool thing with Gala is I feel like I have found what I've been looking for in terms of finding that like community that really, one, helps us, right? Like, genuinely, like monetizing our music helps us, but also knowing that knowing that, that's why I keep saying we're now fan dependent. We're not independent, even though we haven't had our first drop yet. But being fan dependent and knowing that like your listeners like have shares of your music, man, that gives you a whole different level of like inspiration and motivation to push it as far as you can. So I think we have found a very cool place with Gala. I'm very excited to see where it goes and kind of where our all access store goes and our song drops. So I'm pumped. If you can't tell, sorry, I'm talking a lot.
No, that's great.
I'm a front man. I got that narcissistic bug.
You're a front man, and you also do a lot of like streaming. So this is you're right at home.
I cut promos all the time.
You want to do one right now for us real quick, and we'll reuse it in our socials.
Just yeah.
Critical Complex. David says this has been the best interview from Gala Music so far.
Oh,
wow. That's a lot of interviews, man. That's high praise.
Thank you. That's really sweet.
And he's seen probably all of these.
That's really sweet.
Dude's locked in.
Someone just said, sorry, I'm not trying to interrupt you. My bad, dude.
No, go for it.
Someone just said, sounds so anime. I love that. Literally on my YouTube, I've cut a couple AMVs, which is an anime music video, to pieces of our songs just to test. I just wanted to test kind of like my subscribers on YouTube to see if they liked it. And it went so well. So the fact that you just said that, I love it. I love it. That makes me so happy.
Yeah, Gala Film. We're in production with one of our partners for an anime called Ghost of Ruin.
Dope.
Yeah, which is going to be pretty awesome. So yeah, I'm sure people watching this are going to be like, oh, let's get them to do music for Ghost of Ruin.
I love that. Also, 20 unknown. Thank you. That's really kind of you. I'm seeing you guys in chat. I got you popped out.
What's the biggest crowd you've played to? Wayne is asking.
That's a good question. Okay, our DreamHack crowd was very large. I didn't get a number on that, but it was packed. I think I posted a picture of that in the Discord. Just because I was really excited, because I was like, this is working. Like, we might be DIY and independent, but like the word is starting to get out, and I was like, this is working. Like, we are rattling the cage in the right way. That's a good question. So our TwitchCon show in person, it was only like a couple hundred people, but it was like on like their Twitch and stuff. And I think on their Twitch, there was like 20,000 people watching. Now, I don't know if that really counts. But I know DreamHack also had like 30K or something on their stream plus the room. So DreamHack's probably, in terms of all encompassing, because I even streamed the show on my YouTube, and then we had a bunch of people on there. So probably our show at DreamHack we just did is probably the biggest show we ever done.
Yeah, some pretty big ones for sure. I'm going to count the live stream because
Okay.
it's the future. Why wouldn't we count that?
I just didn't know. Like I mean, in person, it was probably we headlined Troubadour, which is an LA venue. What was that, a year ago, I think? And that was a really big show. So that was probably our biggest in-person show, honestly. That or when we did the grand opening of the LGBT Center in LA. That was also another big one.
Nice. Wayne actually has a lot of questions for you. Wayne also wants to know, what's your favorite track that you've done so far? That's
jeez. Oh man. Okay. There's a lot of them. I think even our debut album alone has 15 songs on it. Okay, let me think. So my favorite ones are definitely not what our kind of like single or our like biggest songs are. A lot of mine too. So every one of our songs, when we record, produce, we're always thinking of what it's going to be like live. We very much pride ourselves on like our live performances. So everything we kind of make is like, yes, we want it to be about what the listener is getting, but we always think about what is this moment going to be like live? How is this going to come across to like the audience and like our engagement with them? So given that, I would say my bias is probably more towards those songs live. One song that's one of my favorites is a song called God's Acre. It has a very special place in my heart. I think it's one of my best, honestly, like well-written songs. Story-wise, the through line that happens in our album through that song and the story for Empire, which is a central character of our album. I'm not going to no one probably cares about that, but
you would be surprised.
So God's Acre is one of my favorites. And then our song Ode of She, it's what we end every one of our concerts with. It's our finale. It's 8.5 minutes, and it's the finale of our album, but it includes hundreds of our listeners who recorded voice memos for it. There's a big chant at the end, and over COVID, I put on Twitter, I was like, hey, who wants to sing on our final song? Like, I want everyone's voice on here. And so we had hundreds of our listeners send in voice memos, and then we got them into the track. And so when that moment hits in that song and live, there's just something about it, man. Like hearing all those voices, like sing those words, like it about like brings me to tears almost every time we perform it live, like genuinely. So that's probably another one of my favorites. And then, I mean, there's also other ones, but I'm not going to keep giving a long answer because
they're all your favorites. You're just going to list off every one.
I genuinely love each one in some way. Someone just said Lost Valley. I mean, Lost Valley, Lost Valley is the song that we're dropping Thursday, our first drop with Gala. One of the things that I love about Lost Valley is kind of the adventure I went on in order to write the song, and the experience of writing the song, which Taco, I know I sent you the vlog of, so for those who don't know, from now on, I make vlogs for all of our song releases. So I made a vlog about Lost Valley on my YouTube to explain what like the adventure that happened in order to write the song. Long story short, I basically went on a 4-day wild camping just in the Highlands of Scotland, got caught in a really bad storm up on the mountainside, and it was one of the scariest moments of my life. But for all the reasons that I went there and everything, it felt as if my past had come to find me, which reminded me of like the valley that follows those who just continue, even though they continue pushing forward. It feels as though the valley just continues to follow them, and that's who Lost Valley is written for. So Lost Valley's up there. Wookie, I agree with you. It's definitely up there.
It's a great track. I'm glad you're putting it out as your first one. I'm also excited for this coming year because you're doing a new concept album.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're going to get some pre-release of. Is that right? Am I allowed to say that?
Am I allowed to leak the name of it here for the first time?
For the first time?
Yeah, no one knows what the name of it's going to be, but I just feel like this is fun. So like, why not?
Yeah, give it.
All of our listeners who aren't here, which I'm guessing is the vast majority of them, they're gonna find out I leaked it, and it's gonna be really funny.
Yeah, you leaked it to Gala and not to the
yeah. No, this is great though. I think this is great. This is fun. I'm very excited about what's going to happen with Gala. I think that right now we're finding ourselves in the future of where the music industry is. And I think the irony is that what we've been trying to do as a band is garner our following through our live shows, which obviously, you know, we have to promote our Spotify because that's the only way you book shows. But it's kind of this cool, we were trying to do it the old school way. And yet we have found one of the most forward thinking movements in the industry of how music is monetized and put basically on the market. And I find that like as a really beautiful full circle. But what we're doing is, as Taco already said earlier, concept albums are dead. And I know that I'm not saying that as I believe that. That's how the industry sees it. Even albums are dead. If you're not an established artist, you're not supposed to drop an album. The rule is you drop a single every single 6 weeks. Now, it's easy to drop a single every 6 weeks if you know, you're basically just sampling out and just like running like easy made patterns on machines. If you're creating like all your own sounds and your orchestration, all that stuff, it takes a lot longer than 6 weeks to put out a single. So what we're going to do, we did a concept album as our debut album. We've released a few singles since then. Obviously we're going to be dropping Lost Valley Thursday, but what we're going to do is we're going to be shooting a video in the next few weeks. And we're going to announce a concept era. And it's because we don't want to abandon this idea of a concept album, especially when I think for us, and we think our listeners, they want to go on like the adventure. And so do we. Like we want to tell some kind of a story, some kind of a journey that people can go on. So instead of building up single releases and dropping a concept album, we're going to release the name of the concept album long before it comes out. And it's going to represent our next era. So every single that we release from then on is going to take place somewhere on this story. We're not going to release it in order because we want like our listeners like being like, oh, I think it's going to go on this part of the album because the album has two sides, which is part of the story. So the name of the concept era is going to be Lunar Traveler, Solar Chaser. And the whole message is it's a concept album dedicated to those who walk the night chasing the day. And it's going to be basically two halves, where the first half is going to be the Lunar Traveler side, and the second half is going to be the Solar Chaser side. And what we're going to do is we're going to announce it. Nova and I are working on the logo right now. Like we have our logo, but we're working on like the album art itself, and we're going to put that album art way before. And so for the next like year and a half, we're going to be in what we are calling the LTSC era, which is Lunar Traveler Solar Chaser era. And what we are going to be doing is just creating this journey of, and instead of where Silent Empire was based on Empire, the central character, we're going to have the listener be the central character. So the idea is whatever song they're listening to, we want them to take it into that journey and wherever they are and apply themselves as like the central character of this concept. And so that's where we're going. And our next single that we are going to drop will be like the arrival kind of this new era. There are some songs that we've released that will be on that album. We have a song called Graves or Gardens, Andromeda, and Lost Valley is a part of that concept era. But the next song that we're working on right now is going to kick off kind of that era announcement and like how we do all of our composite imagery and everything. So again, sorry, long answer. But yeah, so Lunar Traveler, Solar Chaser is going to be our next era, which Lost Valley is going to take part in. Yeah.
Yeah, I love hearing about it. Like it sounds like cinema only in, concept album form.
Yeah, and that's what we want people to feel like, and where every song is going to have its own message, its own social commentary, and all these things. It's all going to have a through line that once everyone sees it connected, when we actually release the whole project itself, people can then see the through line. But yeah, the idea is that anytime anyone puts our music on, we want them to feel like, I mean, look, to be totally honest, like I want them to feel like they can conquer the fucking world. I mean, it's like as simple as that. Like I do. I want them to feel like they're built for this shit, like they're fucking purposed, like they're worthy, you know, because we know what our listeners deal with, and a lot of us in the band deal with it too. And we could just write about kind of the darkness of all the shit that haunts us. It's like, or we could choose with our listener base to focus on the fact that like we're made for this shit, and just keeping that focus. So that's, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. We just want them to feel like the main character when they put our music on.
Which is great. And I think everybody needs more, you know, let's go kick some ass music, right?
Yeah, as one.
That's the whole of the group. Maybe we'll start like every morning when I get up and join Discord, like I'll put that in there for all of us to listen to it together. Guys, it's a new day. Let's all get together and go.
I get amped up. Yeah, I get amped up. I get very amped up. So I apologize, chat.
No, they like it. They like to amped up, and they like hearing about stuff. You've messaged me a couple of times to ask if it was okay to like pop stuff into the Discord for everybody, and it's like, yeah, put whatever you want in the Discord. I promise you, they want all of it.
Yeah, it's only because it's like that. You know, you don't want to be like that, like the new band that like comes in and then is like, I don't know, like selfishly plugging their stuff or like posting pictures or whatever. I don't know. Sometimes it can come off really wrong. And so I just wanted to be clear, like, hey, is it all right if I like post pictures?
Yeah. Right. Like you don't want to look too thirsty.
Yeah, exactly. The issue is that it's just I'm such an extremist that like once I like choose that like, hey, as a band we're doing this, like I go so hard in the deep, like right off the bat. So it was kind of one of those things where I got to rein myself in sometimes.
I think as long as it's like proper band stuff and not just a bunch of pics of you like performing without your shirt on, then we're probably good.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'll remember that.
All right. There's a bunch of you still in the chat. Any more questions?
Oh, hey, and you guys can hit me with anything. It's no problem.
That's what this is. It's Ask Me Anything. It's the AMA.
Yeah, 100%. I get asked some of the most vulnerable things like on YouTube, so don't worry about it at all. Take my money.
Not a question, but we appreciate the enthusiasm.
So I love that so much. And I love the definitely an anime. That really, I love that so much. That makes me smile. Nobody wants to be in a relationship with a needy man. Well, and that's the funny thing too, is I'm excited for Andrew and Nova to now be on the Discord too, just because you know, like, look, as like the lead singer, obviously, like I'm like, you know, I take the meetings and the interviews and stuff, but they're two such cool human beings, like, and they have like their like own interest and like their own personalities, and like they're such like good people. And so I'm really excited for them to like be kind of jumping in now too into the Discord. Because I think people are really going to enjoy them as just like people, like just who they are. Yeah, I think I'm really excited to kind of see them start to get involved too.
I really loved that all three of you joined as yourselves in Discord.
Mm-hmm.
There's the easy out, obviously, of just having like there's the City of Sound profile.
Yeah.
It's whoever is in there interacting, your social media manager. But the fact that like you're all independently like, yeah, we're a band, but hey, I'm this in the band and I'm a different person and I have a different point of view, I think is super cool.
Yeah. DIY, do it yourself.
Yeah.
Do it yourself. Oh, someone just said biggest inspiration in music. That was Complex. Oof, biggest inspiration? That is I genuinely don't know. We always have people who will listen to our music and they'll always be like, "Oh, you guys are definitely inspired by Coldplay, 30 Seconds to Mars, like Muse, M83." Like we always get those, and it's funny because, I mean, Nova definitely grew up on a lot of Muse. She's a huge Evanescence fan, but Andrew and I our inspirations are genuinely like it came out of a lot of metalcore. Andrew's very much actually like he has taken, I know, a lot of inspiration from Edge, even though like U2 was way before our time. You know, Edge as a guitarist very much changed sound and the way we hear frequencies and guitar, and pretty much created the dotted eighth like delay. And so Andrew has a lot of inspirations from that, and a lot of other ones. So Yeah, inspiration is difficult. That's a difficult one for me to answer, honestly. It's a great question. I wish I had a better answer for it. I'm sorry.
Nobody's ever shouted out U2 before. Great.
I
Shout out Edge.
mean, yeah, Edge is incredible. Yeah. Late twice, apologies at this repeat. Any musical or non-influences for the band as a whole? We definitely have. I have non-influences 100%. Is it okay? Is that okay if I look at the questions and answer them? Is that all right? I'm sorry.
No, you're killing it.
I just don't want to.
I'm just gonna hang out and drink my coffee.
Okay, well, I'm just hanging out with chat. So I mean, chat, you hit me with. I'm looking. Yeah. One of my biggest non-musical influences is Tolkien. Actually, I'm wearing the Ring of Battle here right now.
Nerd.
Yeah. I know. We've had people, even in the gaming world, we've had a couple funny moments where I'll be in a discussion about something, and then someone just thinks I'm there just to like use like the gaming community to gain a following and stuff, and they're like, prove it. I'm like, bro, I still remember patch 1.14 on Diablo 2 on BattleNet, dude. Like, I still have like my level 89 Meteor Sword. Like, get out of here. Like, come on, man. Like, I've been in this game since I was 5 years old. Like, come on now.
That's great.
But yeah, Tolkien is a huge non-musical influence. His writing influences a lot of how I think approach storytelling in song, but also giving it enough obscurity that people can apply it to what they want to apply it to. So Tolkien is a really big one. There's honestly a lot of poets and painters that I take a lot of inspiration from. I'm like, wait, what was that next one? What are your favorite Web3 use cases for interacting with and growing a loyal fan base of fans? Okay, wait, let me break that down. What are your favorite Web3 use cases? Taco, can you break that down for interacting with?
Yeah, for interacting with your fans and growing your base.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. I mean, okay, look, I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm new here and the band is new here, and I'm not going to act like we're not. I had been kind of circling like the interest of even just blockchain and the music relationship for the past 6 months. I'd been looking into it quite a bit. And I'm not going to lie, I was kind of on that kind of thing where, NFTs started getting like a bad rap, especially in the gaming community. There was a lot of pump and dump. There was a lot of stuff going on. So I was very reserved at first. But then the more I kind of started looking into it, one, like music is a legitimate product, and like what we're doing is a legitimate product. The access store, like the fan store, is a legitimate actual thing that like you can have and like attain and like be a part of. And that became really interesting to me. And then honestly, one thing that I really love is like, dude, I love waking up in the morning and going on the Gala Discord, like all like the Web3 peeps, and just being like, what's up, everybody? Like, what are you doing? And so I think having a place that really gives you a direct route to interact with people. Look, every social media now is run by the algorithm, and you got to change your algorithmic approach every 3 months, and it's exhausting. And then they will stop putting you in front of people. I think on like in terms of the Web3 world, that doesn't happen. If you're involved, you're involved. And I think that's really beautiful. And I think that's a really cool way to have a genuine landing point with listeners. So Jerome, that's a really good question. Someone said Radiohead. Radiohead is not an influence, but I love Radiohead. Radiohead is great.
But not
anime that's influenced your music. Oh my gosh, I love that. So my two favorite anime are not what people usually expect. Now I love Demon Hunter. I love Attack on Titan. Like I love Jujutsu Kaisen. But my two favorite anime as of right now are Your Name and Weathering with You, which are not usually what people would expect me to be my favorites, because they're like visually beautiful. So those are my two favorite right now. What are your favorite Web3? Oh, okay, that was the one I just did. Oh, he's asking what's the coolest thing about Web3 that you can see. They're helping me out with the questions.
They're trying to. You've brought up our All Access Fan Store a couple of times. Have you? We haven't listed anything yet for what artists are going to be offering in there. Have you given some thought to what you guys might offer?
Oh yeah, I thought we were dropping those on Thursday.
No, we're just dropping the track. We're not.
Oh,
People don't know any of this stuff yet.
I was ready for the.
You know the experiences already.
Oh, I was ready for the all access to get people in and run it. Yeah. So some of our all access we're gonna do. I mean, kind of like I think like this, not the simple ones, but like kind of the ones that everyone would expect is like we're gonna do like a band hangout where we have a band house out here in LA. We have this tiny little house in the valley. Our studios here and everything. Everyone in the band, we all live together. We were gonna do like a whole like studio tour, band house tour, and like hang out with the band. We were gonna do like a studio session where people could sit in during one of our sessions on one of our brand new songs that we're making for Lunar Traveler, Solar Chaser as like our next single drop. Like that, they could either sit in on like a vocal session or a string session or a guitar session, whatever. We were gonna do that, but then I was also like, listen, like we game a lot, like why not do like a gaming night with me or with the band? Like, I mean, why not? Those are the things we love. So one of the things was like doing a gaming night together. We have some stuff on like merch drops. I mean, we have a lot to figure out on merch. I'm in this in between place where I'm trying to find a vendor right now. But we have these like tour shirts of our first tour that we're like just now kind of ending. And so we were going to do like signing those tour shirts and like sending them out to people because we'll probably never make them again. And so it will definitely be like an original thing to have. And then there was a couple other things like if people were in the city we were playing, they could come to our sound check, or we'll video in them to the sound check, and then I'll just have them hang out with me, and they can see how we do sound check and like how we run our own sound checks and mixes. Where I'll literally just walk around with the phone and I'll talk to them, and then they can just see how it runs. So those were other things too we were going to do for our all access. Obviously, like, hey, honestly, chat, I am totally open to ideas too. So like if there's something you guys would want to do with City of Sound, we haven't even had our first drop yet. So wait to see if you like the song. Like wait to see if you like what we're doing. But if you end up liking what we're doing, literally throw us ideas on what you guys would like us to do on like the access store, because we'll do it. Like, those are our people too. If someone's buying into our music, then we definitely want to hear what they want from our access store. Let's be real. Someone just said, what game are you into right now? So I play Rocket League pretty regularly. That's kind of my regular game, probably my main. But I was literally just playing Apex with Andrew a couple days ago. I'm about to play Elden Ring. That's going to be one of the ones I'm about to jump into. I hadn't been able to for a while just because of time. But I'm really excited to jump into that. I mean, I'm playing all kinds of stuff. We played Apex. We were just playing Halo Infinite, even though I uninstalled it because of things, and then I reinstalled it because they convinced me. I love Smash. I love the Smash community. So Smash Brothers Melee. I love, and then honestly, any linear story based game I'm into. God of War. The new God of War last year was unreal. Guys, I'm actually this is going to sound ridiculous, but I'm about to play my first Final Fantasy ever. I don't know how I've gotten away with that I've never played Final Fantasy. I haven't. I just haven't. Like, I've been playing Diablo 2 Resurrected. So Diablo 2 Resurrected has been like kind of my go-to. And then I was talking on my stream and they were like, how have you never played a Final Fantasy? So then I admitted another one, like a total gamer sin. And I was like, I've never played a Zelda. And I thought I was going to be canceled. I was like, I'm going to be canceled. Like, I'm going to be canceled. But it's just because I never had like consoles growing up. So I had my friend who had a gaming PC, and that was how I played games. So like, I've just never been able to like play any of those games. So I'm going to play the original Final Fantasy VII on like my YouTube, because I feel like that's the right one to go to, which I'm really excited about. But
that's what I would have said, and it's more surprising than Final Fantasy. I get the Zelda if you weren't there for the original consoles. That makes more sense. But Final Fantasy sounds crazy.
I know. I said Final Fantasy, and they were like, "What?" You would have thought that I did something terrible. But I'm so behind right now because we've been like I still have to get through hell difficulty on Diablo 2 Resurrected. Then I need to play Diablo 4, and then I need to play Final Fantasy 7, like all while playing Rocket League. So, and Rocket League is the most tilting outside of League. Rocket League is the most tilting video game that there is in the world, and I love it. It's a problem. Is this guy a unicorn? I love you, chat. This is awesome. You need your last expedition pass?
You probably do. Yeah, for sure.
What's that?
Last Expedition is one of the games that Gala's developing.
Okay, so I've been going through Gala games, obviously, naturally. I've been scrolling a lot through Gala games.
Mm-hmm.
There's some cool stuff in there. I'm very intrigued.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like very intrigued. So Last Expedition is a game that Gala's developing?
Yep. Yeah, and it's you can play if you go to pass.
Yeah.
Jeff, hook them up.
Yeah, Jeff, please. Yeah, that'd be dope. I also play horror games too, so I screamed like a child playing Mortuary Assistant. So, but I love them. I love horror games.
So all of them, basically.
Sorry, I feel like I don't know if I've totally just. I don't know. Have I just been talking way too much on this interview?
No, listen. They know me already. I don't need to. If you could have just talked straight through this whole time, and nobody would have cared one bit.
Okay, I'm just looking at chat, and I'm like, oh, someone asked something. All right, I'll answer that. That's easy.
No, all good. Did you see Bex asked if you've listened to the band 5 Seconds of Summer, and what do you think of them?
5 seconds. Yeah, I actually. That's really funny that you asked that. Yes, I know who that is. 100%, I know who that is. Yeah, that's awesome. That was great. What a great question. I love that.
He also needs a Superior pass. There's a lot of those. I can.
What are all these things? What are all these passes?
Superior is a different game, which is I actually really love Superior. That's
all right. So I need to get into these Gala games.
We need to get you into it.
Yeah. Do you share Taco's love for Waffle House? I mean, I do. I mean, back at home, Waffle House is a big thing. So I mean, I do love Waffle House. Waffle House, whether you're in Indiana, Kentucky, or anywhere else in that region, Waffle House is like the super late night stop. And no matter what, there's about to be some fresh waffles ready to be taken up. I actually love Waffle House, and it's cheap.
Yeah, I'm mildly obsessive and may or may not talk about them all the time. I'm in Massachusetts. We don't have it. The closest one to us is in Scranton, Pennsylvania, which is like 5 hours and 17 minutes.
Oh, wow. And you can always expect a little bit of chaos at Waffle House. So it's like if you go, you get some waffles, and it's like you never know when something's about to pop off. So it's always an adventure.
Yeah, depending on the time of day, it's like nice, chill, cool morning. If you go there late night, like,
oh yeah,
I might get stabbed, but not in a bad way. Like in the exciting, like which of these people is going to stab me? Kind of
exactly.
Like, I'm so excited.
You're like, oh, I'm checking my 6 everywhere I go. It's really awesome.
Yeah, but also the waffles are so good. We're actually going to be in Indianapolis for VCon next month.
Oh, cool.
And there's a ton of Waffle Houses in that area, and so I'm going to go to like every day.
Bro, there's Waffle Houses all around Central Indiana, man.
Yeah, try to go there with whoever's there. Meet up with
those waffle stacks, bro.
For real, yeah. I'm going to be going to Atlanta in June, and I'm trying to get that added to the fan store where people can go hang out with me and some Gala artists who live down there. Just because it'd be super fun, right? Like, hey, go hang out with Taco and whoever at Waffle House.
I love that. Oh, someone just said is the same version of Lost Valley. Is the drop the same version? Yes, the drop is the same version. Yes. It's the Wave Master. It's the same version. Welcome to the dark side. We have cookie. Oh, when you come into the UK, we have a dream to get to the UK. We actually have a lot of listeners in the UK. that deserve, like, they have supported us in terms of just like sharing our music out. We have some incredible listeners in the UK. I am trying to figure out how to get there. I actually sent like 30 booking emails about 3 months ago to a bunch of UK venues, and honestly, we just didn't hear back. Like, we just didn't hear back, which is unfortunate because like we have like a really good audience in the UK. That's one of the dreams of mine. Obviously, I was just wild camping in Scotland, you know, with no money and just in the Highlands trying to survive. But the UK is a dream. Yeah,
Gala rolls pretty hard in the UK too. So
that's good to know.
I think we'll make some stuff happen.
Yeah, because we have a pretty rowdy fan base in the UK, especially between Scotland and England. There's some, again, the madness is quite strong there. Yeah, they're pretty intense. So I've been trying to figure that out, just because I know we'd have some really successful shows there. So, you know, we're DIY and independent, so we're just trying to figure it out, right? You know, we book all of our own stuff, so we're trying to figure it out. My son is still scarred from a Waffle House bathroom.
That's not the least bit surprising.
I love that.
Yeah, I think part of the magic, I'm going to talk about Waffle House again, for me came from going like as a kid, because we didn't have it. So going on like family vacations and you're in the South, and just the magic of the way that like no one takes any notes for anything. Like they'll take your order and just shout it out, and someone over on the grill,
it's so true,
remembers every single thing. And it's just over there just making it. And just, to me, that was the greatest thing.
Because it's awesome.
It's so awesome. Like, blah, blah, all this stuff. Here's how they want their whatever. And they're just absorbing it. And it's like, it's awesome. Impossible that they're going to get all this right.
I love it. Hi, Bex. I saw the purple hearts. I'm guessing that's one of our listeners. I love.
Just kidding. Yeah, Bex was the one asking about 5 Seconds of Summer.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's one of ours.
Bex, are you in 5 Seconds of Summer? Is that why you're asking?
5 Seconds of Summer is like a very popular, like, I guess you would say pop rock group.
I'd call it pop.
Okay, pop.
Yeah, I don't know who Bex is. Bex could be anybody.
That is true. I don't know. I mean,
that's the internet.
I don't know. Yeah, that is true. Yeah. Does anyone else have any questions? So I went on such a tangent. I'm not even talking about our music anymore.
We talked a lot about the music, though. I feel like we covered a lot, right? We talked about the band. We talked about the gaming. We talked about.
It's true. I mean,
stuff coming up, the track you're dropping. Inspiration.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous for the drop.
I wouldn't be nervous.
I'm shaking and baking. I'm like, I was telling the band yesterday, I was like, I'm kind of nervous for this drop. Like, it's just because it's something new, right? It's something like new that we've never done before. And so it's just, I'm just like, it's also like, I hope people like our sound. Like, I hope people, because I'm like, it's different. It's something kind of new. So we'll see. I know the thing I know is everyone will love Nova because everyone loves the violin no matter what. It's infuriating.
It's electric violin and the cosplay.
Oh yeah, I know. I know. Every show she like literally like adds a foot to one of her whatever her angelic fantasy dress is that she's wearing. And it's funny, like we have a joke. She puts like even more elegant stuff on. The more she puts on, the less I wear at shows, apparently. So it's quite it's quite the trade-off. When's the drop again? Oh, it's Thursday. Actually, Taco, what time is the drop at? Is there a time yet for the drop on Thursday?
Drop is on Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific time.
Oh, okay, so 1 PST.
Yeah, same as the standard drop so far. And there's only going to be 100, not 150.
Yeah, it's 100. Yeah, 100 shares first drop. Ooh, I'm nervous. Let's go.
Only 100.
I started watching his reaction videos and I love them. Oh, I love you, Bex. Let's go. Sorry, I interrupted you, Taco. What did you say? My bad.
No, you should interrupt me. I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, I'm not going to interrupt you.
I like that. It's like that power move. Like I'm just gonna go on and dominate this AMA, and then go flex on Twitter. I know this game.
I just naturally popped out chat because that's like what I do on stream, right? So my natural thing was just like, well, I want to see everyone that's in here. Like I see Family Man, Farm Kids, 20 Unknown, smiling. What's up, guys? Timothy. What's up, everybody? Like I see everybody. I was gonna ask you, does Gala do like music events? Like I know they do the open mics, but does Gala do like signed artist events?
Yeah, that's a really great question.
Am I asking a question that is
the answer is
that I shouldn't be digging into?
The answer is yes. Question mark.
Okay.
So Gala has done a couple of what we call Galaverse, which is a big blowout for all of Gala. We've done two so far. One was in Malta last May. Was it May or June?
June? Did you say Malta?
Malta, the island nation of Malta.
Like the nation of Malta, like the great.
Yeah, and then the December before that, so a year ago in December, we did one, or 2 years ago. Maybe was it 2 years ago in December? It's some time ago. We did one in Vegas, which I went to as a non-Gala person. I was just as a community member, not as a member of staff. That were pretty big, and we had some big names perform at those. But that was before we had launched music, and so I think it's safe to say if we were to do another one of those big events, we would have actual Gala artists perform.
That's dope. Malta is amazing.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of work, but it was cool to have it somewhere a little bit different.
That's unreal.
Yeah, we do like the open mics. We've done some just like live events, but those were kind of for emergings. I think we'll have some different things. Right now, it's just so crazy with the launch, and there's so much other stuff going on. Like we're doing VCon next month to do an activation and do a bunch of fun stuff there.
That's gonna be cool.
That should be super cool. I'm not allowed to talk about it yet, I don't think, or Scott will kill me. But we've got some of the stuff we're doing there is, I think, pretty awesome. And then things will pop up. And so, as far as I'm concerned, the more we can include Gala artists, the better, because it's good for the artists. It's great for the community. Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully our song releases go well, and then we can make something happen. But we'll see first. We got to prove our place first. We got to prove our worth first.
I like that. Or your first drop, even you're like, hey, when can we start playing out for Gala?
I mean, we're playing all these other events. Let's do something. How long have you been with Gala?
I just had my 1 year Gala-versary.
Did you really? Oh,
yep.
Congratulations, dude. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
How are you liking it? I mean, I know we're on the interview, but like, how are you liking it so far? Like,
I love it so far. I've done a few other things internally, but my primary job is just community manager, which is like, it's a stupid good job because like you've seen the community. Like sometimes there are some hiccups, but everybody's super cool. Dude. I've made a bunch of really great like so many people in there I consider like my actual real life friends now. Like if you're in wherever you are, it's like, yeah, let's hang out, let's get a beer.
Do you ever feel like pressured at all? Like if something's going wrong and it's like all over like the general chat, do you ever like feel a lot of pressure or stress from it?
I mean, sure.
Yeah, no, I'm just curious.
Yeah,
I'm interviewing you now. Apparently,
yeah. There have been a few things that have happened where things get kind of stressful. Absolutely, but I think like a lot of times I'm right there with them. Like if things aren't going perfectly, I get a lot of the same frustrations. Like,
yeah,
I don't want people to feel like I'm a part of the thing that's letting them down.
Of course, of course.
But we usually right those ships. There's always a couple of things like we're so new that things are. They're
always
still
going to have
roadblocks, right?
Yeah.
But we try to address it the best that we can. I think it helps that I came from the community. Like I was in Gala, for 18 months before I joined Gala.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
I've having been on both sides of it, like I get it. Like I bought all the same stuff. I was as into this thing, and so I think my perspective is a little bit different, which I think also helps.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. I mean, even having that like pre-engagement is such a cool little relationship to have, like even before like running it, basically. That's really cool.
I knew a bunch of people from that community even before I joined.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I think that's awesome. Someone just asked, where's their Taco? Hey, Taco, where's their Taco Records t-shirt?
You got to be at the right place at the right time. I had some in New York. I brought some with me.
But you actually have that merch?
Yeah.
Dude, I'll wear one of those. That'd be hilarious.
I made some shirts for my imaginary record studio.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's so good.
Yeah, it's not a real record label, but I act like it's a real record label.
Hey, man.
Merch done.
Well, yeah. Hey, I love it. We used to have a joke. Our phrase it still is, but our phrase is always the greatest band you've never heard of.
Mm-hmm.
And then we always say it's City of Sound. So it's like, hey man, we all got our things. I would wear a Taco Records t-shirt.
I'll have to hook you up. What size are you? 2X? You're pretty big. You're
large. No, just large, bro. Just large.
No chance you're just a large.
Yeah, no, just dude, give me a large, and then I'll look nice and I'll look nice and fit, bro.
Let me see if I've got one. I'll see if I've got a large.
I'm thick, but I'm not that tall. I'm almost as wide as I am tall. I'm only like 5'10", 5'11", but I'm, I got that thick boy syndrome. You've seen those photos of me at concerts. I got that thick boy syndrome, bro. And I don't hide it. Whatever, man. I've broken so many things with my booty on that stage. Like it is like my jeans are a Dream Hat concert. Ooh, good thing I was wearing black underwear, man. I'm serious. It was bad. I went crack to crack on my jeans at our last concert, and it would have been a disaster if I was wearing any other color of underwear. That would have been memed all over Twitter, but we're good. I was wearing black underwear. We're good. We're good.
Yeah, perfect. Are we getting... do we have a chat inside of our thing? Oh, yeah. So Paul just wanted me to remind everybody to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm terrible at that.
Yes, like and subscribe. Everyone in chat, please like and subscribe to the Gala Music YouTube channel. You're going to catch all the premiere interviews and drop news at your earliest convenience.
I like that. I'm just going to cut that.
I got you.
Get that in promo. That's ours now.
I got you, bro. That's great.
Awesome. Hey, it's been unless we're going for the record for longest AMA. I don't know what it is, but I feel like we're creeping up on it. It's been over.
I feel like Chad's getting over it. There's no question. I think Chad's like, all right, we get it. We've had enough of this guy.
Yeah, we get it.
We've had enough of this guy. Get him out of here.
We get it. You're awesome. Where's Nova?
Yeah, I know. Everyone's like, hey, where's the one who wears dresses and plays violin and cosplays? Where's she at? Well, actually, it's going to make people like her even more. She's teaching some students violin right now. That's what she's doing.
Stop it. And she's a good person.
Oh, she is awesome. She is a pain in my ass, but she is a great human being. It's 69 minutes. All right, let's end the interview. That's so perfect.
Perfect.
That's
all
awesome.
Right. It's done. Hey, thanks for coming, everybody.
Hey, thank you guys. I love you guys. For any of our listeners that are in there, our first drop is on Thursday. I'm very nervous, but I'm very excited. I hope you guys, in all seriousness, I hope you guys love what we bring to the table. Taco, thank you for believing in DIY independent music and like supporting us and bringing us in. And we're very excited. So, yeah.
See everybody in Discord.
Let's go.